So in that deity, we create the divine sentiments and we get the divine results. So Ved Vyas has said that what is bhakti? Anurag in puja, attachment to the worship of the deity. There is a famous story in North India. There was one illiterate fellow called Dhanna. He was a villager, so he was called Dhanna Jat. He used to do service in a Panditji's house. So when he grew old, he said, Panditji, please tell me some bhakti that I may be able to save myself. Panditji said, listen, Dhanna, you do not know any Ved mantras. What bhakti will you do? He said, Maharaj, now only 4 days are left of my life, a little bit. You have to tell me something. Panditji said, how to get rid of this fellow? He took a piece of stone, which he used to use to grind the bhang. The bhang ghotne wala patthar. He took that and he gave it to Dhanna. So Dhanna asked, what is this? He said, it is a Shila of Sri Krishna. You do worship stone. Dhanna said, all right. Now he was a simple fellow. And sometimes simplicity becomes a blessing in bhakti. Ved Vyas says, Yascha moodhatamo loke yascha buddhe parangata tavubhau sukha medhe te klishyatyantarito jana. Either be extremely intelligent, then you can understand God. Or be totally dumb. Whatever Guru has said, just accept. But the people in between who keep using their intellect, then they keep on doing lekin, kintu, parantu, but. It goes on and on and on. So Dhanna was simple. Guruji has said, this is Sri Krishna, all right, this is Sri Krishna. He took the piece of stone home, very happy. Today Sri Krishna has come to my house. Now he placed that stone there and he decided, tonight when I sleep, Sri Krishna will sleep with me. So he took the stone next to him and he went off to sleep. Sri Krishna was sleeping there. That was his sentiment. And Sri Krishna is noting everything. So the next day, now Panditji had told him, he had asked that, how will I do puja? Panditji said, what will you do? You just get in the morning, you just bathe him and then do a little shringar, decoration, and whatever you eat, you give it to Sri Krishna and eat. So he did his bathing, etc. And then he was a poor fellow. So he cooked his 2 rotis. He placed 1 roti before the stone and 1 roti before himself. He said, Sri Krishna, please eat. Now what will the stone eat? In big temples, where along with the Ved mantras the offering is made, the deities just keep sitting. So where will the stone eat? But Dhanna had this firm faith. Panditji has said that you give it to God and then eat. So he said, maybe you are feeling a little more hungry. All right, take my roti also. He's still not willing to eat. So Dhanna said, okay, it seems to me that you have spoiled your mood because I got you forcefully from Panditji's house. So you are a little upset with me. All right, as long as you don't eat, I will also not eat. He sat down there. Now 1 day went by, 2 days went by, 7 days went by. Sri Krishna is noting. He noted that he has this firm faith that I am in that stone and I have to eat. So Sri Krishna melted. This is the weakness of God. You see, in business, the businessmen, they try and find out what is the other's weakness and then they try and exploit. So what is God's weakness? He's got a soft heart. Wherever he sees that true decision, that true love, immediately he melts. So he saw that, look at the strength of his conviction. After 7 days, Sri Krishna manifested from that piece of stone and he started eating the roti. So this is a true story of North India. It's very famous. So Dhanna saw that he's become a god with hands and feet. Very nice. So Sri Krishna is eating this roti. He completed one, then he extended his hand to the second roti. Dhanna said, listen, I am also hungry since 7 days. You eat one, I will eat one. So Sri Krishna said, what are you going to eat? One roti. He put his hand on his head and gave him, with his blessings, all the knowledge of the scriptures. He became a God realized saint. But imagine how he attained God merely by worshipping that stone. So Narad Ji says that Ved Vyas has declared that attachment to the worship of the deity is bhakti. However, this deity worship is not convenient in this age of Kali. Because in this age, you need a simple process. And wherever there are lots of encumbrances, now you have to break flowers and bring them. But I don't have any flowers, I live in a condominium, what to do? So there are so many problems. You know, in India, when I take a walk in the morning, so particularly in the state of Odisha, people wake up very early. So in the morning, 5 o'clock, I take a walk, I find this fellow. It just started becoming light. He goes and breaks his neighbor's flowers for his own puja. And the person who comes at 5:15, the flowers from below are gone, so he has to stand on his toes and break the flowers. And the person who comes at 5:30, he's coming with a stick, with a hook at the end. He knows the flowers from below are gone, I'll have to do this. So all this labor in deity worship. So one of the deities is the deity you make in the mind. In other words, the deity of God that you make can be of 8 kinds. Shaili, Darumayi, Lauhi, Lekhya, Lepya, Saikati, Manomayi, Manimayi, Pratimashta Vidha Smrita. The Srimad Bhagavatam, the 12th canto. This is the 11th canto, 27th chapter, 12th verse. It states that God's deities can be made of wood, can be made of stone, can be made of jewels, can be made of precious metal, can be made of paint, and Manomayi, you can make it with your mind. So that is the way we are practicing. In accordance with the teachings of Kripaluji Maharaj, we make God's deity with the mind. That is called Rupa Dhyan, meditating upon the form. And when you make that deity in the mind, then you have the freedom. You can carry that deity with you wherever you go. If you need to go by bus, need to catch a flight from the west coast to the east coast, you got 5 hours. Don't waste your time watching that in-house television. Close your eyes. Bring the form of God in front of you. And you interact with God. Like one Kavi said, Dil mein basi hai yaar ki tasveer, jab chaha sir jhukaya dekh liya. My beloved, his photo is in my heart. Whenever I like, I lower my head and look at him. So the deity at home will remain there on the altar, but the deity that you install in your mind, you can carry it in the temple of your heart wherever you go. So this is the advanced practice. That is what we are learning and practicing here, to meditate on the form of God. And in that kind of meditation, there is no limit. Now you can make the garlands in your mind. You don't have to bother whether the fall has taken place. There are no flowers on the tree. Let me wait for the spring and then I'll make the garland. No. You take the choicest rose flowers, add jasmine to it, and make that garland full of fragrance and then offer it to Radha Krishna. Or you want to offer them necklaces made of diamonds. Yes, Swamiji, but in these days of recession, the pocket is tight. Where will I buy a diamond necklace from? Doesn't matter. You make it with your mind. Now, in bhav, there is no limit. In your sentiments, there is no limit. You can enhance the sentiments unlimitedly. Even Radha ji, whose love for Krishna is unlimited, yet that unlimited love of hers is ever increasing. Because in bhav, there is no Purnima, there is no full moon. So when you worship the Lord in the mind, you can make the garland of the best diamonds that you can think of. You can keep changing it every minute. So this worship of the deity in the mind is the most powerful way of enhancing your love for him and establishing that strong relationship with him. The God-realized saints are at that state that the form of their worshipable Lord, their Ishtadev, is sitting in their eyes. In other words, wherever they look, they see that form. That is why the gopis say, Jit dekhu, tit sham mai hai. Wherever I look, I see Sri Krishna. Hanuman ji says, Siya Ram Maya, Sab Jag Jani, Karau Pranam, Jori Jug Pani. He says, in everybody I am seeing Sitaram, 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 so I am offering my respects to everyone. So that is the state of Siddhi, perfection, where they are seeing God everywhere. Naradji himself, before he wrote the Bhakti Darshan, he had this experience. He went to Vrindavan and there he saw a gopi sitting in the lotus pose. So he said that, what is this gopi meditating upon? His curiosity was aroused. Some people do Niranjan Dhyan, some people do Surandran Dhyan, some people engage in Sampragyat Samadhi, Asampragyat Samadhi. What is the nature of this gopi's Samadhi? So he just sat down. After a long time, the gopi, she opened her eyes and she saw Devarshi is sitting there. Naradji said, Mother, I have a curiosity. I wish to know, what kind of meditation do these gopis do? What were you meditating upon? The gopi was not willing to reveal. But upon his insistence, finally she said, Naradji, I was trying to take my mind away from Sri Krishna. He said, what do you mean? I mean, everywhere it seems that Sri Krishna has come. When I am putting the children to sleep, it seems like he's coming and waking them up. When I am cooking the food, it seems like he's come and he's knocking off the pot. When I am cleaning my house, it seems that he's coming and running and dirt. Now I know that it's not his fault, it's his form in my mind doing all these tricks. So I was trying to take my mind away from Krishna into the world, but I was not succeeding. Naradji said, what a blessed state you are in. Pratyaritya munikshanam vishayato yasmin manodhitsati bala sau vishayeshu sajjati mana pratyaharanti tata. Big yogis and munis, they endeavor in their meditation to attain the state of samadhi by removing the mind from the world and taking it towards God. They strive to achieve that state. And what state have you reached? That your mind is so united with God that you are trying to take it away from Him and you are not succeeding. And this impressed Narad Ji so much about the power of devotion, the power of bhakti, that he said that I must write down about the glories of bhakti. So that, of course, is the state of perfection, but we are taking the first step by practicing to meditate upon the deity or the form of God in the mind. And here you can make the form as you like. In other words, it's not that, what do the scriptures say about Sri Krishna? I have to make it like that. Sri Krishna says, no, I have got unlimited forms. You make my form as you like. You like dark colored Sri Krishna? Well and good. You like light colored Sri Krishna? Well and good. He says, I don't mind. Everybody has their different sanskars and different tastes, and God has unlimited forms. There was once one artist, Sri Krishna gave him darshan in Vrindavan. So he said, I will paint your picture and come. Meet me after 15 days. Sri Krishna said, all right, look at me carefully. The artist captured his picture in his eyes and he went back and painted. After 15 days again, Sri Krishna gave him darshan. He said, I have painted your picture. Sri Krishna said, this is totally different. He looked. He said, oh, it is in fact totally different. So again he looked carefully at Sri Krishna and he went off. Again he tried. Again after 15 days Sri Krishna met him. He realized his picture was totally inaccurate. Now when he did this 3-4 times, he felt totally dejected. One saint met him. He placed his problem before the saint. The saint said that God is ever fresh, ever new. You cannot capture him like this. Next time you meet him, just show him a mirror, that's all. So, you can never bind God to this one form. He is the infinite, all-powerful, unlimited God. He says, I am Ananta Nama Rupaya. I have got unlimited names, unlimited forms. I am giving you the freedom. You make my form with your mind as you like. And increase your love. That's the important thing. The form is not important. Increasing your love, purifying your heart, that is the bottom line. That is what you are interested in. You do that. And finally, when you reach the state of complete surrender, Mam ekam sharanam vraja, I will reveal myself to you in my original form. It's not that somebody is an artist, he created a great, wonderful form of God, so he meets a wonderful God. And another fellow is an illiterate person, he makes a very shabby form of God. And upon God realization, he'll meet a shabby God. Sri Krishna says, it's not like that. When I meet you finally, I'll meet you in that divine form as I met the gopis. So that is why this worshipping in the mind, you can do it making the form of God in accordance with your liking. So Puja Dishvanuraga is what Vedvyas says. After that, Narad Ji goes on. What does Garg Muni say? What does Shandilya say? And then what does he himself, Narad, say? We will have to discuss this and some other sutras in the next 2 lectures. Shri Radha Krishna Bhagwan ki, Jagat Guru Shri Kripaluji Maharaj ki, Shri Narad Muni Maharaj ki.